Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. We're here today to talk about regulation for gas drilling, particularly in the Marcellus Shale. My name is Carol Warren. I'm with the Ohio Valley Environmental Coalition, which is a member organization of the West Virginia Environmental Council. A lot of people are pretty excited about the prospect of millions of dollars for the state's coffers and a lot of money to be made. But in the midst of all the dollar signs, what we can't afford to do is lose sight of the things that West Virginians care about most. Our homes, our health, ours today and our grandchildren's tomorrow, our clean air and water that are our heritage, and our beautiful, beautiful rural landscape, which is what makes West Virginia really almost heaven. No monetary value can be put on any of those. So we want to thank our legislators for their strong efforts in helping us to protect those values and to urge them to take up legislation as quickly as possible that will put in place responsible and accountable regulation for the gas industry. This is the year, now's the time. It's my privilege to introduce our first speaker, our Acting Senate President, Senator Jeff Kessler.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here today to share in the E-Day celebration here at the Capitol. I guess it is the 22nd year, is that correct? 22nd year of celebration of the environment and legislative efforts to try to promote the environment. I can tell you, as a resident, lifelong resident of West Virginia, and somebody who is uniquely geographically located in the midst of where the Marcellus Shale play is at its infancy, I guess, or was first done in Marshall County. I can tell you that I'm committed, and I think you'll find our legislature is committed to doing it right, to working with industry, working with the citizens, and working with the people, all the stakeholders in the state to make sure we get it right this time. We're trying, as you know, through various items of legislation that have been introduced, several bills, one that came out of the Joint Judiciary Committee, another that came out of the DEP. There's another one that's going to deal with some economic tax incentives that was introduced yesterday. But this time we want to make sure that we get a template that is correct and right, that can be moved from county to county, location to location throughout the state, that permits the development, exploration, and wealth creation, both jobs creation and wealth creation, that's done in a responsible and environmentally friendly manner. It's, I can tell you in my dealings with industry as well as with the others in the communities and the landowners and whatever, that there are a lot of different viewpoints that need to be taken into consideration. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure that our water is protected, it's safe, and it promotes, when we pass legislation, it promotes the public welfare and the public safety as well. So I drink the water, I drink a lot of it every day. I do not want myself or any of my kids to glow in the dark, I promise you. We're going to make sure that whatever water quality standards are reasonable, reliable, but they do, and enforced in a proper and consistent manner. And it does, in fact, promote the public health. So I ask for your input to continue to work with the groups, the industry groups, the mineral rights groups, the surface owners groups, all the folks at the table, to make sure that West Virginia has a unique opportunity to create genuine wealth in this state, to diversify our economy, to go to places we've never dreamt of going before, and based in large part upon our energy opportunities. So let's make sure we get it right. And I assure you we will commit, and I'm sure my colleagues will, to try to do everything in our power to make sure that we do it right. So thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Delegate Manchin.
I think that the most important thing that I've got to say today is that we should thank the Environmental Council and all the groups that make it up, including the Upper Mon Watershed Association, for all the work that they've been doing in raising public awareness. It is that awareness of the potential issues and problems that need to be addressed through regulation of this industry that has generated all the emails from the public and has now brought us to the verge of actually passing regulation of this industry. I want to thank them also because they have been very reasonable. They understand the importance of the industry, the benefits that it can bring to this state, but they are also simply asking for reasonable regulation of this industry to protect our waters, to protect our land, and to preserve it for our people. I, along with other legislators, are committed to making sure that we do not let the same thing happen to this state that happened with the coal industry back in the early 1900s. I think that unlike back in the early 1900s, that we actually have a lot of industry that is prepared to step forward and to see us adopt and to cooperate in adopting. Last year when I was trying to write the initial Marcellus shale drilling bill, we had great participation by some of the groups from Wavonga in particular, EQT being a part of that, who actually sat down and helped write those bills. This year's bill, I expect, will be more far-reaching. I think that in particular we need to still address what that bill did, and that means that we have to have record keeping. We have to have verification of what the drillers put in the ground, what they take out of the ground, and how it's disposed of to make sure that it is legally disposed of. I think that secondly, we need to make sure that when they take water out of our streams, that we maintain an adequate bypass around the place where they take that water out that's protective of the environment, that doesn't kill fish and doesn't destroy that environment. We also, and have just recently become aware of this, there are actually some communities, I think Philippi, one of those, where there's a problem with the amount of water. That's not true in most of this state, but there we need to make sure that the Marcellus shale drilling activity does not jeopardize the adequacy of the water supply to that community. There are other issues that need to be addressed as time goes on, and hopefully within this section, and those deal with perhaps providing greater notice to surface owners and giving them a better opportunity to participate in where the footprint for the well site will be located, where the roads will go, and perhaps to take a look at the amount of compensation that presently exists under our statute. Finally, I think that we have to address the issue of pooling and roads in particular. I forgot roads. Obviously, everybody's interested in what happens to our secondary roads. But there's a lot of damage done to all roads. But particularly, we need to make sure that when they are drilling in areas that they maintain passability of the roads while they're doing it, and that they restore those roads to their original condition and not burden the citizens and the taxpayers with the expense of all those repairs. But that final issue is pooling, and that perhaps is the most controversial. It does involve perhaps taking away some people's rights as to when and how their mineral resources will be developed. But on the upside, it also reduces the footprint, and it has ecological and environmental benefits to it. And I think we need to search and try to find a good method by which we can accomplish both of those. I want to thank this group again for all of their efforts in public awareness and making the legislators aware of the people's desire to see something happen. Thank you all very much.
Now I'd like to call on Senator Orphy Klempa.